If you walked down Bridge Street in Phoenixville recently, you probably noticed the beautiful iron pot planters along the sidewalk. Currently lining the downtown district are 21 of these historic planters, with 32 additional planters planned to be installed within the next year. The installation, care, and maintenance of these beautiful streetscapes are just a small part of a much larger picture that's being crafted by the relatively new Borough of Phoenixville's Beautification Advisory Commission, known as the BAC. Hi, I'm Lou Beccaria, and welcome to the inaugural edition of our new show called And Now You Know. The BAC was created in the spring of 2013 out of a citizen-based interest to maximize the aesthetic potential of the Phoenixville community in concert with the revitalization and economic development of the downtown historic area. In addition to the iron pot planters, over the next 3 years, the BAC has plans to complete 4 new murals, new sculptures, to create 2 to 3 new pocket park areas located within the borough, including Boulder Park, to refurbish the Flo Straub Way off of Bridge Street, and to redo the landscaping in the borough's parking lot in the rear of the Family Dollar store to enhance its beauty and safety. There are several other beautification initiatives planned, including installing new Welcome to Phoenixville signs at all road entrances to our community, painting the 2 railroad bridges that traverse the borough, and adding more shade trees in the borough parks. 2 of the 4 murals have recently been completed, and they've caught the eye of everyone who drives or walks by them. When we return, we'll meet the artists who painted these community works of art and learn the stories behind their craft and why they came to Phoenixville in the first place. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We live in a world of banks that are too big to fail. Small banks are acquired by mega banks, and then you and your money are stuck in the middle. But it's different here. At Phoenixville Federal, we are the last community bank standing. We have over 100 years experience investing in this community, and we truly care about what happens in our town. So when you do your banking with us, your dollars are helping to grow our local economy, because we invest in local businesses and families that make up this great community.
In September of 2014, the BAC solicited ideas for the first 2 murals to be painted in the 2 locations selected by the Beautification Advisory Commission. Energetic young artists submitted their ideas for the 2 murals, and the BAC voted on who would be selected. The first location was on a 4-foot-high wall at the bend on Route 113 on the north side of Phoenixville. The BAC got permission from the property owners, Karen and Matt Roman, to paint the mural on their wall, and then selected a plan and a design from Cynthia Oswald. By the end of January 2015, Cynthia and her crew finished this colorful creation. Here is her story.
My name is Cynthia Oswald, and this is the story of the Northside Mural Project. I looked at a number of different places in Chester County, but Phoenixville just kind of stood out to me because of the people, and I just felt inspired by it. So I started looking there, and my realtor told me it was on the north side, and I was kind of thinking, I've heard a lot of negative things about the north side, so I didn't even want to give it a chance. But then when I got there and saw it, I knew right away that it was kind of where I was supposed to be. There's sort of this whole story that happened on the north side that still lives there in a way, but you kind of have to dig to find it. And so that kind of inspires me. And because there's such a rich history in Phoenixville, and just running around, I mean, there are 3 parks on the north side, all surrounding my house. So it's like in any direction, there's kind of a community place for people to gather. You really can't judge something by the way that other people are gonna say that it is. You kind of have to judge it for yourself. I really love the north side of Phoenixville. The day that it just sprung on me that I really wanted to get involved somehow, I went back to my studio and immediately started searching for some kind of committee that was creatively involved in Phoenixville. Someone at the borough said that I might want to get a hold of Lou Beccaria. Well, the Beautification Advisory Commission meets once a month. I just wanted to give back to the community, so I thought, how can I use my talents and my abilities to service the Phoenixville community. And, I thought maybe they would use my graphic design skills. Maybe they would need help with the newsletter. I just kind of offered it all up on the table, and they said, well, what about this mural project? Because I had showed them my portfolio, and they saw that I had an interest in fine art. So I didn't even think, I had no idea that there would be a mural project. I do a lot of fine art, but I never worked on a mural before. But as soon as they told me that it was on the north side and where it was, and I knew exactly the spot, I knew that I definitely wanted to be involved with it. They kind of said, how about you come to the next meeting prepared with some sketches, and then we'll see, how we want to proceed. They gave me measurements, so I kind of roughed it out and just did 3 different options. The first 2 I spent a lot of time on. Actually, the third one was the Phoenix, and that's the one that they ended up wanting to pick. And it was like, oh, I'll just put this in there as my last option, and it really didn't take much time at all. So it was kind of funny that they ended up choosing that one. So it was kind of like, what are we going to do? How are we going to pay for the paint? I was offering my services, so I was donating my time, so they didn't have to worry about that, but just coordinating volunteers and all of that. So what we did was we met about it, and kind of everyone threw around ideas. I knew Terry Brett from Kimberton Whole Foods because I was working there part-time, and he likes to get involved with the community, and I figured he would donate the money for the paint and the supplies, and he immediately said yes. So he took care of that. Jean McNamara is part of the BAC. She works also for Villa Maria Academy, and she basically offered up her services to kind of partner up with me and execute this project. She said that she could find volunteers, and that also she would be willing to paint like alongside me. So she had girls from the academy come for the priming. So we did 2 coats of masonry primer, and then there was just like 1 whitewash that we did before I actually started drawing on the wall. When we were working on it, there was a lot of people that were complimenting it, and a lot of people actually driving by while we were working on it, like beeping and saying, oh, looks great. It was nice. I'd say that the whole process was really interesting. I mean, between coordinating with everyone and meeting new people in the community that I didn't know before. I just kind of feel, it's exciting to see it, but it also just, for me, it's like, what's the next thing I'm going to do? I feel like I need to do something else. That's kind of how my thought process goes.
We'll be back with the story of our second muralist, Teresa Haig, in just a few seconds. The second mural location that was selected by the Beautification Advisory Commission is located on the corner of Star and Bridge Streets, on the side of Marley's Restaurant. This location offers a perfect vantage point for traffic heading onto Bridge Street coming from the Montclair Bridge. The Commission wanted an eye-catching Welcome to Phoenixville mural that depicts the rich steel mill heritage that's woven into the fabric of the community. And that's exactly what they received. The BAC selected mural artist Teresa Haig, who mixed the blue-collar roots of her hometown of Rochester, New York, with some historical pictures of the old Phoenixville steel mill, and created a beautiful 2-story image that blends into the clouds above Bridge Street. Teresa took a white stucco canvas and created an incredible work of art that makes a powerful statement about her adopted hometown of Phoenixville. We hope you enjoy Teresa's story.
So, do we have a countdown? Shall we count down? 3, 2, 1. Yay!
Teresa Haig from Phoenixville. I'm the artist. This is my mural. I grew up in a very industrial, blue-collar sort of town or city in upstate New York. So I've always connected to industrial scenes, the roots where people kind of come from, really basic things of daily life. That's what all of my normal paintings are of, the subject matter that I typically paint. So it started with a very brief conversation with a friend of mine, Michael Riley Hill. He approached me about it. He sits on the beautification committee in town here, a beautification advisory. And he said, "Hey Teresa, we're looking for some muralists, any interest?" And I sort of said, sure, I'm always up for new opportunities and learning about them at least. So I went to a meeting, met all of the committee members, Lou Beccaria, who's amazing, and after some time and putting through some mock-ups of what I was kind of thinking, it all got approved in the end. And I went down to our historical center in town and worked with them, and they put down boxes and boxes and boxes of old photos that I searched through. I just really connected with this particular image I think it's from 1932, of the old steel mill, and I just thought how appropriate it would be to have something like this as a reminder for the community of who we are and where we came from. I'm so afraid of heights, so the scaffolding was a little scary for me with the swaying and the climbing, so we settled on a lift. So I rented a lift right here in town at Total Rental. I was either going to grid out the scene on the wall to get it big, which is what the old masters used to do when they were doing big murals or reliefs. And then I was talking to Jeff Shaler, who is the muralist down at Iron Hill, and he said, no, the best way to do it is to project it onto the wall. And I thought that's sort of brilliant. So I got up here one night, it was 10:30, and I spent until around 3 in the morning just outlining some of the major subjects so that I had a map when I was up there on the wall. I'd get up at 5, I would put on some coffee, head out the door by like 5:15 and down here by 5:30. Get all the stuff unpacked from my van and line it up on the curb. You have to have all your paints lined up and mixed before you go up. I'd go up on the lift and I'd just work sometimes for 6 or 7 hours just up there, bring my gallons of water, and the town would show up. Nancy down the road would bring little treats by a few times a week, and it was great. Before I started, I think I was most nervous or most anxious about the town's response, because this town is a vocal town and it loves its history. So from day one, people were driving by in their cars honking and waving and yelling out things. And then as the mural progressed and things started to fill in, what was really special and what I really look back as one of my favorite things about the mural is these folks that grew up here as children would stop by and wave me down, and I would chat with them about what they remember about the steel mill, and it was great because it wasn't just, hey, I remember being here and I saw the old mill. It was so colorful. They remembered the sights and the smells and being with family, and it always had to do with family. Like I was sitting with my grandfather watching the beams come out, or I remember when my husband would go off to work there and he'd come back with all of his buddies to our house and we'd have dinner, things like that. As an artist, you just want people to feel things and you just want them to connect with things. And so even if just one person brought a story like that, it would have been worth it to me, but to have so many people do that, something I'll never forget. Personally, I feel like I accomplished something so big, something I would have never thought I could do. So from a personal growth aspect, I just feel so full because I was able to do something so big and execute it sort of on target and how I planned it. I need a little break right now, but I loved the process and I really enjoyed the surprises that came through it. And when you work up so close, you don't have that step back perspective, and you don't get that until you're down and back. So it was these little gifts every day when you would get down and you'd step back and you'd think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. So Yes, I would love to do murals down the road, but for now I'm going to take a little step back. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for coming out today. I hope to see you all again around town. Thanks. Thank you so much.
That'll do it for us. We hope that you enjoyed our first show. We'd like to hear about your ideas for future editions of And Now You Know. Please contact us through Facebook or email. You can also watch this episode on our new online community channel at voxypop.com. I'm your host, Lou Beccaria. Thanks for watching. And now you know.